Hallelujah. It's Beyond Entertainment Show with PVO again. Yes, I say again. And guess what? We have a very wonderful guest for you. And I'm sure you are eager to know who is this person. It is not in my character to tell you the name before you see who the person is. So let's go there.
My name is Tolu Mike-Bamiloye, aka Jaymikee.
Into my life, into my life, come into my life, Lord Jesus.
Jaymikee is an aka for Tolu Mike-Bamiloye. He's a drama minister, a music producer, and a graphics artist. He's the second son of Mike-Bamiloye. He graduated from Bowen University, BSc Mass Communication in 2013, and he's married to Tolu Mike-Bamiloye.
Tolu Mike-Bamiloye is a child of God. I love God. I am a drama minister, and I'm a dietitian, nutritionist by profession. I'm married to Tolu Mike-Bamiloye.
I'm a movie editor, a video editor, a background music and sound effects producer. Sometimes a DOP, sometimes a sound guy, but most of the time a background music and sound effects producer.
I love people. I love smiling. I love to cook. I love to encourage people. Yes. So I love sports. When I was in primary and secondary school, I actually won best sports girl in school. So in primary school, I did athletics, football, netball, swimming. Like I did almost every sport that was available in school back then, and I loved it. It was something I enjoyed doing. And then secondary school, there was basketball, there was volleyball, I think, but I wasn't really good at volleyball. I didn't really enjoy it. And then there was badminton. And then I like to ride bicycles as well, but a lot of other things have been coming up and hindering my athletic nature, but hopefully I hope to pick it up soon enough.
I'm a very artistic person. I love art. I love creativity. I'm outspoken when I want to be, only when I want to be. I love new things, experimenting new things.
I like to sing, I like to cook, I like to experiment in the kitchen because I like healthy eating, so I like to mix a lot of things up. Some of them come out very good and some like, that was just an experiment. So and many more, just to mention a few.
I'm the director of Manza Music Studios.
And this is Beyond Entertainment. And this is Beyond Entertainment.
Unofficially, I like watching movies because it helps me to, especially movies that are higher in technological status. Because it helps me to get new ideas and stuff like that. New ideas and see where the world is. I love technology. I love innovation. I love seeing new things being invented, rediscovered, and stuff like that. I enjoy staying indoors more than going out because it gives me enough time to develop myself, to rest. Silence. I like silence. And then in the midst of silence, I also love music. Jay and Josh started, I think about 4 years ago or so, after the mini series Inspiration was coming to an end. The idea for Jay, I saw a video online about someone having multiple characters and stuff, and it was really nice, but there was no message there, and it kind of provoked me that we could do something like this that will also attract people, but at the same time we're attracting them to hear a message that they will be blessed by. So that was what brought about Jay and Josh. And as at the time, the software that could make it possible, that could make it easier was released. So I was very fortunate to lay my hands on it. So Jay and Josh started. The concept of Jay and Josh is to act out a message, but make it unique such that people are interested in watching. And funny enough, when I did the Jay and Josh, I had no focus on children. But as it turns out, I have more children fans than adult fans. So I hear people say, my children watch Jay and Josh. I'm like, So it's like it's appealing to children more than it is to adults. And which is a very good thing, because catching them young, instilling the message in them as they grow. It's a very beautiful thing. So I am glad that the attention could reach out to both adults as well as to children. So Jay and Josh started a few years ago, and right now we are on 30 episodes, and God has been helping and He has been inspiring a few of our brothers like Tolu to help us in the director of photography as well. And it has helped us to even do more easier, because initially it was difficult. When the idea first started, I had to put the camera down. Our brother Damla is a very busy man. So you cannot just call him and say, record me, I want to wear filler and be doing one weird stuff now. So it was hard at first, setting up a camera, changing, dressing, acting the other person, changing camera angles. It was really tough, but now it's getting easier to do your God. If we are talking about the most, the one that I enjoy the most, but it's different from the most challenging one. The most challenging one is the train. To me, is the train, because the movie was almost 3 hours long. Land of Fury is also a very interesting production that I'll never forget in my life, because it's the first time going to Kebbi. It was my first time being present in a collaboration with NCCF. It was the first time for many things in my life, and it was also the first time that we would shoot something action-like. So before Land of Fury, it has always been in my mind that I can't wait for us to write an action film script that I will ball all out on the effects and all that. So when the opportunity came and I saw the script, I was like, yes. So when we were to shoot that scene, Dami was the director and I was the DOP. So we sat down with Tunde Owa. I'd like to give a shout out to all the NCCF of Kebbi State, Zadaya and Beverly Studio as well. We sat down and we actually wrote down all the shots that we're going to take, because I told Dami that this scene, writing it is one thing, visualizing it is another. And if you don't plan before stepping on set for this kind of a scene, it's going to mess us up big time. So prior to that time, I had shot Jay and Josh Spirit Shades, and because of the technicality in it too, I had written down all the shots I would take, because this was no longer a matter of close wide, medium again. It was not a matter of shoot what you know you are going to use, exactly what you know you are going to use. So we wrote down all the shots and we're taking them bit by bit. We had that paper that we're checking, striking out all the shots. So after we shot it, of course we are told the people how to act when you're holding a gun and how to vibrate, and all that stuff. So the post-production, I made sure that I sat down with it because I was excited to edit it. So the sounds of the gun, there was a war film that we had watched already. In fact, there were several war films, but there was a particular one that I had watched, and I think that also got an inspiration for Land of Fury from that movie. It's titled Beast of No Nation. So the gunshots of that movie, I took parts of it. Then there was another movie titled, I've forgotten the title of this one. Anyway, there was another movie that was shot. This one was a US based film. It wasn't even an African type of film. But before editing Land of Fury, I don't know how God just led me to watch that film. And, it's challenging getting several gunshot sounds. But this movie, the scene where there was a street gunfight, I don't know, I was just privileged that the editor there did not put any sound effects, just sounds of guns. So I heard all the gunshots, everything. I was like, Oluwa show. So I just extracted this, but of course you cannot just pick and drop. So I picked it, all the guns that all the guns that sounded more of AK-47, I extracted it. The ones that sounded more of those that were holding those one, I don't know what they call those other ones I extract. So where someone is holding AK-47, you would have used it, loop it, divide it, and then there will also be an underground sound of a war sound that you just lay. So you'll be hearing the sounds of people, and also on set we recorded them shouting. So everybody, let's start shouting now. Rolling action, yeah, woo, woo. So we shouted. One of us was shouting. Some people were hitting metal everywhere. Bah. So all those sounds gathered together. You would think they were more on set than they were that they actually were. Sound has a strong illusion. Plays a huge role in how your mind perceives, because just your camera only sees this. But when you create a sound that there are 100 other people, you will assume there are actually 100 other people around. So that was what I used for the sound. Then of course for the bullet holes and the muzzle flashes and all that, you gather sound video samples online. There's a folder that has a lot of muzzle flashes. You place them properly, camera tracking, etc. I mean, I know I sat down with that scene for a few days before, first of all, editing the scene, and then putting the visual effects, and then putting the sound.
Mike.
Stashola.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma.
Yes, sir, you sent for me.
Oh, yes, I did. And how are you, Sister Shola?
I'm fine, sir. How are you too, sir? Okay. So my role in the train. So I got a call one day. Jaymikee called me, and I even thought he wanted to speak to Joshua. And then he's like, no, I wanted to talk to me that I'm taking a role in the train. And I'm like, me, how? Like, because I'm always shy actually when it comes to acting. But God is helping me. So I'm like, me, how? And I said, okay, I hope it's a minor role, because I like the minor roles or walking in the background. And I hope it's a minor role. He's like, well, it's somehow, but it's not really a minor role. It's one of the major. I'm like, what? You say you're going to be acting Sister Shola, that is mommy, Sister Gloria, the young Sister Gloria. I say, huh? I'm like, what? I'm like, sorry, I can't do it. I'm like, no, I can't do this. It's like, no, don't worry, you can do it. I'm like, I can't, like, it's just, it feels like it's like, don't worry, I've sent the script to you, just read it, and don't worry, God will give you the grace, you can do it, you know. I'm like, okay. And then the call ended, I'm like, I was just thinking, I'm like, God, how am I going to do this? But, so the day finally came, and, well, I prayed that God just had to help me, because I don't know how to. It felt like after reading the script, I'm like, wow, this seems like a lot. But I thank God for the grace. Along the line while we're shooting, I actually went to beat Mommy. I'm like, Mommy, please just pray for me. Pray for me, because I need grace to effectively deliver this role and to just, do it to the best that I can. God helping me. So I thank God for the role. It was a good experience for me. I also learned a lot, and it was a bit challenging because the script was in English. And when we got to the scene, I was already, I'd already mastered the English lines, and they're like, okay, you have to speak Yoruba. I'm like, huh? Like, what? I know how to speak Yoruba, but my Yoruba is not very excellent, but I try. So right there and then on set, they now had to start teaching me some of the Yoruba words, and well, a lot of the cast and crew were laughing, but thank God. But thank God, yes. So God really helped me. So learning the Yoruba on stage was a bit challenging, but I thank God for His grace and helping me, see me through it. So it was very nice. It was a very nice experience.
I'll talk about Abejoye. Abejoye seems to be one of the most interesting that I've done so far, because by the grace of God, we're able to come up with sounds that went along with the personality of the character, which is Abejoye himself. Of course, it's common knowledge to know that when you're doing a sound, you do a sound that goes with the personality. But there is something about Abejoye himself that while he was in the world, he had power. When he crossed over to light, he had power still. So how do you create a sound that embodies both the power of while he was in the world and when he came to God? How do you create that kind of sound? So the sounds that we came up with, like in season 1, when we introduced him for the first time and the camera was showing his horse tail, and the chain on his neck. The sound that we played there, it was showing that yes, someone has come, someone has arrived, and even the same sound. And then I was also very particular about the kind of music to play at the beginning that will call people's attention. In the days of Agbarala, it is when you hear you can almost start having goosebumps that hey, something wants to begin. So for Abejoye too, if I were with this season 1, I thought it was going to be the normal but by the time we were working on season 2, that's when the sound, the actual heaviest one, came up with the and I mean, so it's one of my most interesting sounds, because that sound, both the sound when he's facing devil, demons and whatnot and everything, all those sounds, and then the mysterious sound too. So all those things, when you want to start producing, many times when I want to produce, I don't start producing with everything already in my head. That's not how I produce. It's one by one. I start with something and then it builds. So sometimes it builds and then I lose inspiration at the point, then I put it aside and start another thing. So how this one was able to come about, I just give glory to God. So that's one of my most interesting. But my most challenging and also interesting is going to be the one that was done for the train.
I can't believe this. Excuse me.
It reached a stage that I had this creative block or creator's block. It was terrible. I had produced about 5, 6, 7 different types of sound that I kept losing inspiration halfway. So it got so intense that I was weak. So at that point I received it after I had done about 8, 9. I had done 9 that were okay. It now became time to now even do the theme song, but I was already weak. So at that point, I felt led to invite Lawrence Oyo, and then he came. It's a whole new different story. I didn't want to go into the story of how that one happened. But long story short, God helped us to come up with something. And after he had gone, I now had inspiration for like several others again. That while we're laying the sound, other sounds were coming. And then the sound that came while I were in like scene 10 of laying the sound, a sound came that night that became the main sound for the most emotional part of the film. How God did it, in fact, I don't know. So those are my challenging and most interesting ones.
Mi mo bóyá ẹni ọ̀rọ̀ kan àbí méjì tẹ́ fẹ́ bá wa sọ.
Ẹ ṣeun, orúkọ tèmi ni Ìyáàfin Adépéjú Adéṣeun.
Ó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Nǹkan ẹyọ kan ni mo wá ṣe ń bí ilé ni. Mo wá bá gbogbo yín sọ òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ni. Nítorí gbogbo yín fẹ́ ṣe àṣìṣe ńlá kan lénìí.
The introduction stayed, and knowing that this was a true life story, it was not just fiction or something that was written, it was what actually happened. And being on that set and seeing what was happening, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe they actually went through this. Like, how did mommy not even say, okay, I'm done, I can't do this anymore? Like, what? All my family members were there. Like, all our family members were there, and anyway, that part got to be. I'm like, if it was me, I don't think I would have just said, you know what, I'm sorry, this is how far God has helped us. It's not by force. There are plenty other people. Thank you. I probably would have said, okay, let's just call it quit. But I learned from that story that she saw beyond what has her own self, what she was seeing and what people were saying. She saw beyond what was happening in the present. And that's one thing that I actually took. It strengthened me as well. Like, don't look at what is happening now, but base your stand on what God has said. So what has God said and what has God showed you? So definitely if I was in her shoes and God has shown me stuff and told me stuff, I believe he would have given me the strength to stand. But if it was by my own power, I would have been like, no, thank you. So yes. So that scene was actually quite short. It was quite heavy. That scene was quite heavy. And then the part of also when this one got to me both when shooting and when watching it. It was a part where when Bra Mike told everybody that we're now going full time, and everybody has to quit their job and follow the train. He was full time already as at then, and so probably maybe mommy she had something she was doing, but when God had said, okay, every member had to now officially go full time, meaning she had to drop every other thing. Maybe she was doing any side business or something. She had to let it go and focus fully on the ministry. And that for a woman, I think that can be a difficult thing to do, but she still stood firm and said, don't worry, I will be with you. And even when the man was having doubts, she didn't tell him and say, are you sure you heard God? Are you sure you don't go and pray to be sure that you heard God very well? Because this thing this step you're taking, there's no turning back and all those things. And she stood by him. She didn't, there are a lot of people that, importance of marrying a woman after God's own heart. Some women might have at that point also maybe joined some of the people that did not encourage him, and that would have been another issue. But we thank God for godly women and people that have relationship with God. So yes, that part got to me where they had to let go of everything. And then some people that were like family to them, at that point, the people had to, break ties because they had two different directions. We were going two different directions. So that part also got to me, and watching everybody going on the train, and she's like, don't worry, I will be there, and remember that God will always be there for us. And that part really got to me as well while watching. Okay, why do I only do gospel movies?
I don't like things that waste my time. Things that waste time, I don't like it. If I'm going to devote years of my life into something, and that thing is just going to make you laugh, I feel I've wasted my time.
Okay, let me start with my background in gospel movies. So I first joined the drama department when I was in university. So growing up, I watched movies a lot, but I never saw myself being a drama minister or even acting in a movie. But when I got to school, I was supposed to join the choir, but I'm like, everybody's going to choir. Let me try and join another department that has fewer members. So, and a friend encouraged me that let's join drama departments to be fun. I'm like, okay, let me join, even though I don't know how to act and I'm very shy. So I joined the department, and then I found that I actually had the passion for it. And the department there was more to being a drama member at that then. I didn't know there was anything called drama ministry. We just saw it as drama group. So there was more to being in the drama group than just knowing how to act, because we had times where we had to pray and we had to fast, and we would actually see God showing himself, and we were not doing it for ourselves. It was like a ministration. Every time we had to act or not perform, to act or minister, we saw it as a ministration rather than just doing it for the enjoyment of people or for entertaining people. It was more of a ministration, and we did a lot of spiritual activities behind it.
If I'm going to devote years of my life into a thing, and all you gathered there was you laughed and you said, boy, furniture, and that was all you got from it, I've wasted my time. So now I was born into a Christian home, I was born into a ministry, but then I'm not just in it because I was born into it. I've seen the effect it has. I've seen a long-term effect. So if I'm going to spend hours and hours producing a song or doing a skit, it is not just to entertain you or to make you hear something nice. That is short-term effect. I've wasted my time. But then when I do it, and then years later you refer back to it and how it changed a part of your life, I've not wasted my time. And if we look at where I was born into a ministry where I've seen people talk about things that were done decades ago, and they still say they watched it and it changed. Someone will say, oh, my marriage, I watched this and God used it to save my marriage. I mean, the movie was done for maybe a year, but that is a lifetime effect. So to me, why gospel? Because I cannot waste my time.
Back then in school, I thought my drama stuff was just going to end there, my drama group stuff. And then as I went on, I saw myself in another drama group in church. And along the line, one day God he spoke to me and said, I'm going to be involved in drama. And I'm like, okay, really? How? Like, what am I doing in drama? It never occurred to me. It didn't cross my mind. So God ministering to me made me see that, okay, this is one way God wants me to use my gifts and talents to glorify him. So I can't use my gifts and talents to please man or to do anything God doesn't want me to use it for. And this is how God wants me to use it. And I will use it for him like that and glorify his name. So it's not even about me, but rather about God that has called me and told me this is where I want you and this is what I want you to do. So I don't do it for myself. I just do everything to please God.
Second reason, God gave me a gift. I'm definitely sure this gift didn't come to me by my hard work or by one school I went to. That God gave me this gift, and if he has given me this gift, I'm supposed to use it for his kingdom. That is why he has given it to me, no other reason. And I'm very sure, I've received it too many times in my heart, that this gift, it is for me. I gave you for a reason. And so, second reason, why gospel? Because God gave me the instrument. So when it's just like how someone has a car and then he gives a guy and say, do Uber with this. And then the person takes the car and then he starts picking up people for free and dropping them, or he just takes the car and parks it. That's not why the car was given to you. The car was given to you to make money and make returns. So this gift was given to me for the expansion of God's kingdom, for soul winning. So I don't see myself doing any other thing with this gift. So it has to be gospel. And then some people even asked me recently, so why not, if they call you in Hollywood or they call you in this, will you go with? I said, there are many, let's even put what the Bible says aside. There are many people who are there. But in this calling, there are few people. Say the harvest is plenty, laborers are few. Now the few laborers have now been called to be a laborer. I will now leave again when they are already few. No, let's make a mark here. Let's make the mark here. There's nothing we are looking for out there.
There are hopes and dreams in the heart of every man. There is a desperate wanting for one thing or the other. Jealousy, envy, and hatred fill the air. It is nothing compared to what we are yet to uncover. But as for people of God, standing on a new reality, the solid rock that never fails, far beyond the darkness and over all principalities, and far beyond the present evil that we see.
Okay, my musical journey started in primary 3. That was when I got introduced to music properly. I was introduced to a man who, the music teacher of the school, also ran a music lesson outside the school, and I noticed my friends went there. Those are two of my good friends went there, and I wanted to be a part of them. That was why I got interested. But of course, I found myself easily learning the recorder, because at that time, so I decided to join a music lesson, and that took me there. It took me there, and then that was how it all started. So I started from playing musical notes, playing the drums. As at primary 5, I stopped because I had to focus on common entrance, and so the self-development started from there. God started building it from there. I found myself getting better with each year that passed. And in JS2, my journey into sound for movies started. And it started from stage drama. As I was in JS2, Dami was in SS1, and he was the head of the drama unit. So whenever they wanted to present the drama, I used to come to school with my keyboard, and while the drama was going on, I had an idea of the kinds of sounds. Of course, they were lame at the time, but it was still nice because people hadn't seen such before. But I knew, if I'd seen people do it in movies, or a person, KT by the name, do it in movies, I was like, okay, we can implement such in stage drama. And that was in GS2. By GS3, SS1, my journey into the actual film started with Blood on the Altar. And it all started with the same keyboard. I was playing keyboard with my cousin and Stephen Bamidele and my cousin Sheyi Obembe. And we used to record things on the keyboard and a lot of sequence sounds just for the fun of it. So we played one of those sequence sounds for that. It was like praise medley kind of thing. So Daddy was like, this is very nice. Okay, do one for Blood on the Altar. I was like, I have you do it. So Daddy gave us the sound, just something like this. Yeah, do it. So we did it, and he recorded it. That time he connected the keyboard to, I don't know how he connected it, but he found a way to connect it to on VHS or whatever. I don't remember how he did it, but we recorded it, and that was how it all started. So it started from there. We took the keyboard to the studio in Ring Road, and we did more sounds. We recorded more sounds, and that was how it started. From Blood on the Altar to this day, it has been one step at a time, higher and higher. Then by 200 level, I got introduced to using a computer connected to the keyboard, and from there, by 300 level, 400 level, voicing started using chants. And that time I didn't used to sing anything, just chants. So my voice was technically used as an instrument rather than to sing. So you'll be hearing all sorts of funny sounds with my voice. Then by 400 level, songs started. And that's where we are today. Sunset at Midday was done when I was in 300 level, and by that time I had already started singing, but not fully, not songs that I could boldly release to people and say this is a song. It was just a song that I know that it's hiding behind the movie. So because I wasn't really sure of because I had no actual proper knowledge of production in terms of the technicalities, but I had the creativity, so to speak. So Sunset at Midday started, and after producing the instrumental, I wanted to put something voice related. So I didn't just want to chant. I wanted to chant something that people would listen closely and be like, he's saying something that actually makes sense. And to the glory of God, the letter Sunset at Midday went in the right number of letters to fit that chorus. So it was very funny. And the S and a U and N and the S and a E and a T and a E and a T and a M and a I and a D and a D and a A and a we. So I say why, I say we. So yeah, that was the idea behind that. And we just made it and people liked it. So some people didn't know that was what I was saying, but those who knew were shocked that was what I was saying. Manza Music Studios officially started in 2013, but unofficially started in 2007. What brought about Manza Music Studios was simply, and I've been saying Manza Music Studios for a while, even though I'm just the only person, but what brought about Manza Music Studios as an actual branch of Manza is because of the consistency in how we've been dishing out soundtracks for movies. And when I say we, I like using we by faith, because very soon it's not just going to be one person, it's going to be a team. But how music has been dished out over the years, it started back in 2007 with the movie Blood on the Altar. And back then it was just with a keyboard. And from there, it kept growing and growing. From the first type of keyboard, that was an old Yamaha, to a better Yamaha. Then 2009, 2010, it migrated into using a laptop connected to a keyboard, and so on and so forth. So it had been growing but all along, it had always been myself in my room with my laptop or with the desktop, because I had a desktop at some point, and then the piano and the keyboard. So it became official when the first two albums was released. When the first album was released in 2013, The Living Sacrifice, then there was no actual name Manza Music Studios. But when the second album was to be released, that was when the logo came about, and then we actually had officially Manza Music Studios. So that was in 2015. That was when the Rebirth album was launched and released. So that was when Manza Music became a thing. So almost every year, from Rebirth Nation, we had, the next year was Generation Next 1, the following year was Generation Next 2, the following year was One Man Nation. And so it had become a more robust branch of Mount Zion, because it wasn't just sound for movies now. It was also sound as albums. And from after the last album, singles that were done began to get even more robust by working with certain people. Like in the movie Land of Fury, we're able to work with K strings from the north for the music because it had a lot of Hausa in it, so we had to work with someone from the north to give his input in the Hausa tone and all that. I had so many limitations in terms of production. Before the computer came, I was so into sequencing on the keyboard itself that I had the mind of how, before seeing what a music software looked like, I had an idea of how it was meant to look like. I really don't know how to explain that period of my life. I had sequenced for so long, or like a few years on the keyboard, that I knew that if there should be a way that this thing should be easier, that is seeing your timeline. I was already seeing all these things in my head. So when I eventually saw a software for the first time, it was familiar because I was like, this is what I believe it should look like. So it didn't take me too long to migrate from producing on the keyboard. But then the limitation of still being in, of course, I know technology has advanced so much that once you have your laptop and your MIDI device, you are good to go. But then for more advanced form of recording, like when we wanted to record, I have a father. I had to bring all the kids to my room and record. When we wanted to record the Land of Fury song, Nasara, I had to go to the church and use the studio to record children because there were so many, I couldn't take them home. So we recorded their song and then I took the audio back to my room. So these are a few limitations I've been having. There was a time I needed to get speakers, professional monitor speakers. I would save, and then by the time I'm getting close to it, another thing would come up that would take the money away, and this was going on for so long. I mean, but for every milestone, when I got a sound card, it was always an exciting period. Like, yes, we're a step further. When I migrated from the Windows to Mac, it was a step further. When I got the microphone, when I was finally able to get my condenser mic, Rode NT2, I was so happy because I had used a Shure mic. There's this church mic, the one you see in churches. I had used that for a while, and even with all these things, even with all these limitations, I usually tell people God has a way of covering your lapses with grace, such that people hear these things and people are still blessed. You know, people hear these things in movies and they still request for it. So I believe God took me through this process of learning to use what I had, so that when I'm able to tell people, it will not be a matter of you're just saying it because you have all these things. I haven't spent a decade being limited. I mean, I can tell you my experience, and if I see what you have, I can tell you what you can use with what you have. I believe this was what God had been trying to teach. So even when I had the chance to finally have something, it's like the money just finds a way to just disappear. Even there was a time I was stuck on a software for years. I used Reason 4. Reason 4 the Reason software had reached Reason 8, and I was still on 4. So I had reached that point of frustration that I wanted something more, because I felt I had overused what I had. But even while at that moment of frustration and lack of ideas because of how fed up I was with what I had, God found a way to still bring out something special. At the end of the day, a good song will still come, a good tone will still come, a good sound will still come. It wasn't perfect. I'm not saying using things that are limited will still give you a perfect sound. It wasn't perfect, but you know, when something is backed up by the grace of God, it goes further than if you didn't. And so getting to this point now, because when I tell people, oh, it was in my room, people say, oh, I thought you had a big studio somewhere. I'm like, no. So I kind of got used to, I don't know if it was my brother or myself, they say, see, stop telling people your room, stop telling people, because it was making people now say, oh, so it's even your room. But to me, it was a thing of joy that, okay, if you didn't think it was in my room, that means it's a good job, and that means God is truly making the best use of these things. So having passed through all that and then finally getting to this point, you know, having a studio like this has been on my mind for so many years. The practicality of it started to come up in my head when I trained under Mr. Evangelist Bade Adetishola for about 3 months. And then I saw his studio, and then that was when the hunger for an actual studio began to come down. Okay, even if it's not an actual studio, let me even have professional speakers. Let me have a proper microphone. Let me have, you know. But it didn't come when I will advise that for the young ones, or for the upcoming ones coming to the ministry, coming into the creative world, coming into drama ministry or music ministry or whichever it is, please let your focus be on God and souls. If your focus is on God and on souls, it will help you to prioritize. It will help you in decision making.
First and foremost, I'll say that God should be your priority. In whatever you're doing, just always aim to please God and put God first. Because
a lot of people enter with two minds. They are thinking of souls, but they are thinking of what they will get from it. If you enter with that, then it will also affect some crucial decisions that you ought to make.
Yes, there's a tendency of you misplacing your priority, or you start to shake, your foundation starts to, but just always ensure that you put God first, and you are intertwined with Him. He's leading you every step of the way, and you have to be broken, because God might require some things of you that other people may not understand, and it may not make sense to other people, but just be sure that God that has led you to do something or let go of something, He's always going to make grace available for you to do what He has given unto you, and there's always a blessing attached to it. So just ensure that whatever you're doing, you're not doing it for man. Your aim is to please God, to glorify God, for people to see God and not you. Because, you're on set, people are watching you, they're seeing the talent. But always remember, don't get carried away by the act, the talent, and the gift you have. Remember that it's God that gave it to you, and you're meant to use it to glorify Him. And yes, God will bless you.
Then the second advice I will give, please understand that God is a God of, I know many people don't say this, but He's a God of step by step. Don't expect that you want to get in there and you, as the world will say it, you want to blow. Now, please, everything is growth. God, if you notice the things that God have created, you will notice growth in almost everything. Everything, like the Bible talks about, there's a time to this, a time to that, a time to this. There's a time for everything. Start and watch God grow you. Don't try to jump the gun. Don't try to go because you want to be like. So you now say, okay, you want to take a shortcut. There's no shortcut. Grow. Let everything start from somewhere. I believe that's what are part of the things I've learned in this ministry. Growth. The way I was 5 years ago is not the way I am now. The way my brother was 5 years ago is not the way he is now. So let God grow you. Let God groom you. And we'll get there in Jesus' name.
And this is beyond entertainment.
Please don't mind my voice. I didn't know I was going to sing. This is a trap. I'll put you in front of my melody. You are all that matters. You are all that matters. I'll make room for two. You and I, Jesus. You are all that matters. You are all that matters.
My favorite song, I think for now, would be the hymn song In Christ Alone. But I'll just sing the last two lines. No power of hell, no sting of man can ever pluck me from His hand till He returns or calls me home. Here in the power of Christ I'll stand.
What a wonderful story. Usually, there's always a story behind the glory. Wonderful. As I always say, let me say it again. Please, let's keep praying for gospel movie makers and drama ministers all over the world. These people are doing fantastic jobs just to serve you awesome ethical movies that will transform your life and your family. Thank you very much for staying tuned to watch this movie. Please recommend it to your friends and neighbors and everywhere. Until I come your way again at another episode when I will be bringing a brand new guest. Please keep watching Beyond Entertainment Show with PVO, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Biko Nabega de Bego, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the notification button so that anytime any of our show or movie is landing, you are getting the notification straight away. Don't be told. Thank you very much. See you again. I am Victor Olukoju, PVO.
Keep watching Beyond Entertainment Show with PVO.
Hi everyone, my name is Jaymikee aka Jaymikee, and I want to implore you to keep watching Beyond Entertainment Show with PVO.
Modern entertainment, beyond the applause of men, we seek for something valuable, and that is the soul of man, yeah. And that is the soul of man. Men and women, so down for God. And this is beyond entertainment. And this is beyond entertainment. Beyond entertainment.
Keep watching Beyond Entertainment Show with PVO.